Would you look at that? Rich, earthy, almost finished compost. And the best part, I barely touched it. No turning, no weekly flipping. I can't really say it was patience, because the reason it didn't get flipped and turned is because I have some things going on with my back. But I needed compost. The garden needs it. The worm box needs it. Spring doesn't wait, so I did what I could. Because of these issues with my back, I just don't always feel like working. Let me tell you how this happened. A few weeks ago, I set out to build a compost pile. So I weeded 2 flower beds. It took maybe an hour, and I think I've got plenty of greens. I'm gonna have to get one more load of leaves. I raked leaves from down by the creek and way up on the hill. It's steeper than it looks. Making a compost pile generate heat. Comfrey is a known catalyst. Plus it's high in nitrogen, which is probably why. I've got more. This one I've actually tried to move twice. It's growing right beside the worm box, and it always gets stepped on. The bumblebees particularly seem to love the comfrey. I hate these things. I hate them. Worms get stuck in the fibers, and they can't get out, and they basically just sit in one place until they melt. I've got 2 more, this and one more, and I'm getting rid of both of them. It's not that the pain got worse, it's just that it's always there. Once in a while, but mostly it doesn't go up and down, it just hums. And that constant hum steals your momentum. It makes you start to wonder how much, if any, of your old life you'll ever get back. But I'm stubborn, and I intended to build it anyway. Ooh, that's hot. Other than the turning, this is the most important part. The goal is to generate as much heat as possible at the heart of this pile. If I had my own source of animal manure, I'd put a huge pile of it in right now. Got this little pile of comfrey. More greens. I'm not going to pack it down. Airflow is actually a good thing. Compost really just needs patience, microbes, maybe half a bucket of old pea. If you put your own urine into a bucket and close the lid and leave it for 5 days, it goes through a nitrogen cycle, and bacteria eat all of the ammonia and poop nitrogen. Your own urine is one of the best sources of nitrogen available. When you buy it at the store, you're probably paying for some animal's urine. Why not just use your own? This is probably a year old, and I've been saving it specifically to use as a starter on this compost pile. Very gingerly, right in the center. I added a good shot of biochar. I have a pit. I made it years ago, and I'm not even halfway through it yet. Fully inoculated because it's about 50-50 worm castings and charcoal. Leaves will be a good brown that'll add a little bit of aeration. This is soil from the property. I took a bucket, walked around the orchard, and I picked up the dirt from the gopher holes. It should be full of microbes and deeper earth minerals. And all of the minerals that are in here when the worms eat this compost, when they eat these microbes, all of those minerals will be released into my compost in a plant-soluble form. That's what microbes and worms do. Microbes get minerals all over them to bring back to the plant so that the plant will give them sugar. Then worms eat the microbes. Enzymes in the worm's stomach turn all of those hard minerals that were stuck to the microbes into something that turns into liquid when you add water. Plant soluble, water soluble. This transformation must happen for the plant to fully absorb nutrients. This is the soil from the smart pot. This is what I want to recondition. That's the base layer. And I'm going to repeat that process until this is full or until I run out of greens. I set this pile up strategically. After you build a few of these piles, you learn how to stack it so that it gets hot. And that's what I did with this one. A little comfrey at the base, some greens, some biochar, some worm castings. Biochar and worm castings bring in tons of microbes. I had a bucket of sanded silt, some of the dirt from the smart pot, a lot of greens from the garden, and the leaves that I've raked from around the property. I just stack it all up like lasagna. All of these other amendments are super heavy, so comparatively, it's a thin layer, a thick layer, a thin layer, a thick layer. I shoot for equal parts green stuff and brown stuff, but not by volume, by weight. Biochar, go for whole dirt. Urine, soil from the smart pot. I'm gonna need the rest of those greens. Okay, almost halfway there. Biochar. Of course, I added worm castings. This bucket makes me about halfway through the dirt in that smart pot. Go for whole dirt. Into the biochar, into the gopher dirt. This is the urine bucket, smart pot dirt. I'm going to fill this the rest of the way. I'm out of greens, so I'm going to cover this for now. It's okay if you don't do it all in one day. I wanted to do it all in one day. I might get to this tonight, but I doubt it. And I gotta go to my regular job in the morning. So I watered everything in and I tarped it. The plan was to come back the next day. It's not completely finished, but if I had to have soil, that would work. Every weekend, I told myself, this is the weekend, you're gonna finish that compost pile. And I meant it when I said it, but weeks passed and it didn't get done. I'm the kind of person that pushes through. So pain or no pain, I was gonna build that compost pile. And it wasn't like I was in too much pain to do it. I don't know, I lost my motivation. And I just didn't. But if you have any sort of chronic anything, then you know that sometimes it's easier said than done. But finally I came back to it. I didn't even turn on the camera. I didn't plan to film it. I thought I was going to have to start over. But when I pulled the tarp off and lifted off the top layer, underneath it was warm. It was almost finished. I'm blown away by how far this went without a turn. Just blown away. I've been beating myself up about slacking on this chore, but if I hadn't, I never would have known that I could get this level of finished compost without a single turn in the same period of time. I'll be experimenting with this for sure. I can't even begin to tell you the joy and relief that simultaneously flooded me when I realized. The microbes did the work for me. The center had cooked down beautifully. Fungal strands, soft texture, the smell was on point. You can see the outer ring. It didn't cook. It still needs more time, but the core, it is through and through done. Chunky, but I could use this. And so was my self-blame. Here's the truth. Compost doesn't need a hero. It needs a good foundation. The right layers, enough moisture, a little biology to get the party started. Then the microbes do the rest. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I've done this a million times and I'm here to teach. This was an accident. I'm going to try to repeat it because what I learned when I stacked this up and walked away was that you don't have to turn it if you build it right. You don't have to muscle through pain. You don't have to be the strongest person on the land. You just have to keep showing up in your own way. I'm finishing it out today by adding more greens because now I know this method works. Even if I have to step away, even if I can't move like I used to, even if I need to rest more than I work, there's a lesson in there that letting go isn't the same as giving up, that sometimes the pile keeps cooking even when I feel like I'm standing still. Healing is slow, but composting is patient. But on a personal level, it gave me hope, the kind that says you're still part of the cycle. You still matter, even if I have to go slow. So if you're dealing with physical limitations, if you feel like your body won't let you do what your mind still dreams of, this is for you. You can still make good compost. You can still garden. You can still grow something beautiful, even if it takes a little longer. Am I in there? That was a very pleasant surprise. It may be chunky, but I got something I can use in there, and the worms are gonna love it. Thanks for watching. See ya.